Hello, and welcome to Rolling Out's Business Exchange for Peace and Purpose. My name is Portia Monique, and today I'll be your host. And we have Summer Faussette, who is a National African American Business Development Manager at Comerica Bank. Welcome to the show, Summer.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. And we're happy that you're here with us as well for Peace and Purpose. Now, I want to get started with your role and your responsibilities at Comerica Bank as a National African American Business Development Manager. Walk us through a typical day. What do you do? What are your roles? What are your responsibilities? What do you typically do within a day?
Within a day, it's really depending on the day. I mean, some days I'm just doing, talking to my colleagues, getting some information because we have several business resource groups here that have basically their pulse on the African American community and the businesses that we already serve. So a lot of it is making sure that we kind of recap, get some information, what's going on, what is needed. And then I speak with a lot of community business leaders, thought leaders in every community that we serve to make sure that we're hearing the voice of our community, our Black community. And then part of my day is attending. COVID's kind of dwindling down a little bit in some areas, so we're able to have more in person, face to face. So a lot of it is meeting, getting to understand the businesses that we serve, getting to understand the communities, and doing events and attending, just making sure that we're seen in the communities that we do serve. So a lot of it's just intentional relationship building and continuing to make sure that the smooth process is still a possibility on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely. And what are some of those practical things that you do to intentionally build relationships?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's listening. I mean, most relationships are all based on listening, communicating, understanding what we don't know. And those relationships are crucial, especially in times like these. We have to kind of dial in on these relationships and lean on one another. And some of the pieces are not just speaking with the thought leaders and our strategic um, community plans, but just also speaking with our community, getting into those small businesses and listening to them, listening to their needs and seeing what's going on. Like, what are they facing right now? Honestly, every day is a different day, and we never know what our small businesses are facing. So with that, we want to listen, we want to hear, and then we want to implement. We want to kind of change where we can change to make sure that the needs are being addressed. So a lot of it in regards to relationship is communication and listening.
Yes. Now, this is Acts a Banker segment for Peace and Purpose. So I want to know, as a customer, if I walk into your bank and I don't have a relationship with you guys already, but I want to start building one, what do I have to do? What do I need? What are the criteria that you guys require?
We ask that you just talk to us. Let us know what your needs are. So a lot of banks, a lot of bankers with Comerica, we dial into who you are. Are you a business owner? Are you trying to open up an account for your children? Are you trying to establish, like, you've never had a checking account? So what is that? So we'll sit down and we'll talk to you. We'll explain what type of accounts we have and what fits your lifestyle. Not everything is cookie cutter for everyone. So we want to get you in a position to understand your goals and your dreams and your future hopes of what you want to do with this account. Is it a savings account? Is it an IRA? Do we need to get you to our wealth team? I mean, it just depends on what the needs are for the customer. So honestly, as a banker, we first want to understand who you are and how we can help, and then go from there. And then we also offer resources. So we understand we're not going to always be the one-stop shop. We have resources where we can get you to, if you need lending and you're just like a startup, and we all know banks don't deal with startups when it comes to lending. So what do? We get
Right.
you to places that can get lending. We're not going to leave you saying, oh, I need $10,000 for my business, but I've only been in business for 6 months. Oh, sorry, we might not be able to do it, but let's get you to someone who can. Let me give you a warm transfer and introduction to those organizations who can actually help you where you are right now.
Yeah. That's definitely a benefit of having a relationship with your banker, right? And I just want to say there for a couple of more seconds when it comes to getting to know your banker, right? So I'm walking in cold. I don't know anyone. And then you just, you take us through getting to know us and finding out what our needs are. However, how often should I keep in contact with you? What would you suggest the cadence is that I just kind of make contact with you and say, hey, things are going well, my needs are being met, and vice versa with the banker as well?
Absolutely. So, as a consumer, I would suggest that you at least keep in contact with your banker once a quarter. Okay. It's just kind of like how you deal with your accountants, how you deal with your CPAs, your bookkeeping. You kind of keep them up to date. You need to keep us up to date because we are going to be your liaison to anything that needs to go on. Good, bad, ugly, indifferent, doesn't matter. Let us know what's happening because we're the ones who can say, okay, so this is how you are right now. We understand your goals because we already had that conversation. So let us know what's going on. Do you have less employees? Do you need more employees? Are you trying to figure out, the sales or the marketing or the budgeting of your particular product or services or websites or whatever it is? Let us know, and then we will keep in communication with you, right? So that's kind of what happened when everything kind of blew up in 2020. The bankers who had relationships with their consumers are the ones who have those first phone calls. They're the ones who said,
Mm-hmm.
hey, this is what's going on. This is what we're doing. Let's get you going right now. Opposed to me being a consumer searching for that relationship in such a pandemic that, it's hard to build a relationship when you need someone. It's so much easier to build that relationship when that need isn't there, but you're just kind of laying the foundation. So let your banker know how often you want them to talk to you. That would be crucial so that they know when to call you or when to visit your establishment or place of employment. So let that be known. And then keep that communication, but whether it's via email or phone calls, it doesn't always have to be like picking up the phone and speaking for an hour, but it could certainly be, hey, this is what's going on right now, or we're predicting this. Let us know. Give us your predictions for the next year as well. Like everyone has goals. Let us know what those goals are on an annual basis as well. So keeping in contact, I say once a quarter is perfectly fine. And that if something changes, feel free to pick up the phone and call. Absolutely. But just once a quarter so that we know that you stay top of mind. So when we have a new product or a new promotion, or we know of other resources that can certainly help you, you'll be one of the first people to call.
Great information. Thank you so much for sharing. And that is news to me to at least keep in contact once a quarter, right? Because I was thinking once a year, but once a quarter, like you said, it'll keep it top of mind. So thank you so much for sharing that useful information. Now, I want to get into community partnerships and why they are important not only in the financial industry, but also in the communities we serve. Let's talk about that for a second.
Absolutely. So community partnerships are kind of part of our strategic community plan. So you have to have the resources. We can't do everything by ourselves, right? So that the community partnerships and the organizations within these partnerships provide critical resources that service basically most of the vulnerable areas. And we have to be intentional in how we deploy our financial capital, our human capital resources. So we can't do it all by ourselves. So we have to partner with these community partnerships. And it ensures that we reach and have a maximum impact on our communities. There are community partners. So let's say like with the minority diversity supplier, Urban League, the Black Chambers, I mean, they have boots on the ground. They're doing everything. So if we financially support them, they can do so much more. And it makes our communities thrive opposed to just survive. So those community partnerships are necessary to not just be a bank of choice, but just to be a business right now. Banking, corporate, small business, it doesn't matter. You have to have those community partnerships so you know what the goals of your community are, so you know how to support your community and what the needs of the community can be. So, and see how you can change or reinvent whatever it is that we're doing to make sure it is equitable for all areas of our community.
Yeah, those community partnerships are definitely important. And thank you for sharing that as well. Now, I want to get into just a bit about raising expectations of what a bank can, of what a bank and provide I'm sorry. I want to get into if you can explain what it means to raise expectations of what a bank can provide and the impactful example of how this is being done.
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I'll make it pretty simple. When we want to raise expectations, and honestly, that's our promise, that's our goal, that's our mission for Comerica Bank. We want to raise expectations of what a bank can be, and I'll tell you, in March, we and our Comerica Charitable Foundation basically gave a commitment to invest approximately $16 million in 2021. And this was to support the small businesses and communities that were impacted by COVID. So right now, our goals of raising expectations has to deal with those that have been impacted during this pandemic. And of that 16 million, 12 million were directed to CDFIs, which are considered community development financial institutions. Those are the developments and those are the institutions that meet the needs of the small and micro businesses and low to moderate income communities that are adversely impacted by the pandemic. Those are your Black and brown communities. Those are small businesses that have a gross annual revenue of less than $1 million. Those are us. That's those are small businesses. That's what moves this economy along. So we actually, one of the examples is we launched a partnership during this time with the National Business League, and that is inclusive of a $1 million investment, and that's over a 4-year time frame, which is assisting in launching the Black Capital Access Program that basically set off last month, and it's a one-stop online platform for Black-owned businesses. So they're currently offering access to capital toolkits, a wide variety of technical assistance, financial planning information, webinars, boot camps, so many things that just help Black-owned businesses at this point. So basically, raising expectations of what a bank can be, it's not always going to be the same thing every single year. It's where we are and meeting the clients of where they are at that point in time.
Now, that's very valuable information. How would consumers find out about something like this? And then how do we get involved with something like this as well?
Yeah, so you can get involved by either going on our website, taking a look at all the different opportunities and resources that are there. You can certainly contact your local banking center, wherever you are, ask them and they can get you information or in touch with the local African American business resource groups that are intentionally providing resources and doing outreach to make sure that our information is known and what resources those are. So as a business owner, as a consumer, if you don't know where to go, look on our website or contact your local business resource group who would be involved with the local banking center that you work with.
Now, if I am a small business owner, mom and pop shop, whatever it is that I am, I have a small business. How would I have even known to have looked for programs such as this?
It's hard to know. I will be honest. Programs are widely accepted and allowed. You don't know which one to go. You don't know which one to do. If you don't deal with a bank, go to your community resource. Go to the urban leagues, go to the Black chambers. If you're a small business, you want to be involved. And this way, the resources should populate on their website or their meetings, or you should get the flyers or the constant communication with monthly newsletters. You just want to stay connected with those community members. And this way, everything that's being offered should be able to go through them and they can get you in touch with the different banking opportunities or the different resources that different banks have. It's not just our bank, but we are wanting to do more within our community. So we will reach as many people as possible. And it's really just making sure you're open to receive it and kind of taking that first step to going into the community partners to just kind of see what's going on, get into their resources.
Okay, so get involved in the community, get involved with some of these different resources, get to know your banker first and foremost, right? And then stay involved and look for these programs as well. So great information. Now, do you feel as if there are any areas of concern that your role is specifically focusing on to assist people of color as it relates to their small business goals and ability to scale?
That's a really good question. So the number one goal, being a Black-owned business, the number one, the goal, the issue, the problem, what's been sustained for the last 100 years has been access to capital. We need access to capital. That has been the number one need for Black-owned businesses, and it's still the number one need today. So with access to capital, though, there needs to be understanding of money. Okay, so we need to know how to get money and then what to do with that money. So we provide a series of virtual small business bootcamp sessions in collaboration with those various community partners that we spoke of. And with that, you're going to have the Black Chambers of Commerce, Minority Diversity Supplier Councils, Urban League chapters, other nonprofits assisting minority-owned businesses. They're free online financial education sessions, and they're helped to build the business's acumen with technical assistance, tools needed to scale and sustain during this time, this right now time. So when you have these tools and when you receive access to capital, and again, access to capital might not be gained through the bank immediately. However, access to capital can be gained through those community development financial institutions. We supply funding to these community development financial institutions so that they can fund your dream, so they can fund the current state of wherever you're at and give understanding of what to do with these dollars. So whether the dollars are for marketing, whether the dollars are for building websites or for increasing a supply chain or hiring, whatever it is, you want to let them know what that is and then attend these boot camps or some form of virtual financial education so you know what to do with those dollars. So right now, the need is access to capital. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Now, I have another question as a small business owner. Consumers, when they are small business owners and they want to come to your bank to develop a relationship, what are some of the common items that they need before they even step foot in the door? And I know going through this boot camp will probably help them, but what are some of those common answers or common items that you need before you even step in the door?
Before you step in the door, you want to have, number one, a clear understanding of what you do. You need to be able to
listen. So that sounds so simple, and it sounds like that is common knowledge, but it's not. And a lot of people can't articulate what it is that their business does. Number one, in less than 30 seconds. And number two, in like less than 3 sentences. Like, just give me a snapshot of what your business does. I don't want you to go into detail about, well, when they come through the door, you know, so that's very important. And I didn't mean to chuckle at that, but a lot of people don't have that basic first step of having a thorough understanding of what it is that their business does. So I didn't mean to interrupt. Please keep going.
No, it's true. A lot of bankers, or you might say, what do we need? And we go through a list of documents that we need, and we need taxes, we need profit and loss statements, we need to know the name and number of your CPA and your accountant, your bookkeeper. We honestly, if you can't get past understanding what you do and what sets you apart from your own competition and who your competition is, then you can't even move to the next set of documents. We need to be convinced that you understand what you do. And it's not just convincing us for lending. You have to convince yourself. You have to be very confident in your business. This is your dream. These are your ambitions. This is what you're setting aside for your family for generational wealth. So we need to know that you're okay with moving this along so it can be a legacy for whatever you want, or you can set it up for succession to sell or whatever it might be. But these are just the idea of who you are, your mission statement, your vision statement, your website might not be in place, but you need to have all of this in writing. Even a business strategy. What are your goals for 2022? What is happening right now in your business? And then understanding, because I'm not an expert in your business, you're the expert. So you tell me what your business is and then what your needs are. And then we can move on from that. Then we get into those profit and loss statements. Then we get into balance sheets. Then we get into, understanding who your CPA is. If you don't have one, then what kind of programming do you use for those documents? So, and understanding, number one, after understanding what your business is, also, as a bank, we do not recognize a business that doesn't have a business account. So you have to have a business account. Do not mix funds. If you start mixing funds and collaborating your funding from personal to business, then your business is no longer a business. It's now a personal account. So you
Mm.
need to have your personal account. You need to have your business account with your business name on it.
Yeah.
And you need to utilize it as a business account. Make all the deposits. If you get cash, deposit it. Because guess what they calculate for income? Business deposits.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you don't deposit it, then you don't have income.
Mm.
So we have to understand. So there's a language to business, right?
Mhm.
There's something that is like, we all want to start a business. We go into this, but we don't understand the ebbs and flows of business. So we need to understand that language at least a little bit so
Yeah.
that we can move on to the next step, right? We might not be pros at understanding business, but we need to understand enough so that we can continue to the next step.
Yeah.
So understand who you are in the business you have, and then have a business account and make and actually utilize it as a business account. Those are, I would say that's very crucial. We can get to profit and loss, we can get to balance statements, we can get to understanding your cash flow analysis, all that stuff. Leave that to the pros. You need to know what you do as a business first and foremost.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. I want to get into, before we get into the peace and purpose segment of it and get to know you a little bit more personally, I want to know, what are 3 tips that can help our listeners as it relates to their financial health?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Number one tip, what would I say? I would say utilize your resources. Get mentored from people
Mhm.
who do something that you want to do, right? Get
Mhm.
from people and businesses that are where you want to be.
I
That
need
might
a
not be the
bell.
end result. Go ahead.
No, no, I was just saying I need a bell because that is some valuable key information. You don't want to get mentored by someone who's not in the same field as you are. And I think a lot of people make that common mistake of, well, he's a millionaire. I'm just going to ask him to mentor me. Or, she's an expert in her field. I'm going to ask her to mentor me. But it has absolutely nothing to do with your business. So that is very key.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yes, yes, and they will give you wisdom, because trust me, as a business owner, you go through pitfalls, you go through things, and you are willing to tell someone else what you learned and what not to go through, or what not to do, or what not to waste your money on, what type of marketing you need to do for your specific business. So you can save a lot of money and a lot of time and headache just by having that mentor. The next point I would do would be set goals that are attainable. Okay. So we all say we want to be a millionaire. What does that take? How do we get there? Should we at least try to have our business be at a $250,000 mark first? And then move from 250. Okay, what do I need to do to take it from 250 to 1 million? Because what you're doing today, if you're making $100,000 right now, you have to be doing something different to take it to $1 million. So
Mm.
set those goals, make them attainable and achievable for what you have, and then have those stretch goals. Definitely have it, like in 5 years you want to be a $1 million company. But what is going to change and shift during this time from right now to that point? What am I going to do differently? What are the relationships that I want to have different? Because it's all about resources and having someone say yes to your product or yes to your plan. So waiting to get to that yes, there's still some things that need to be done. So make sure all of your goals and all of your daily goals, your annual goals, your 5-year goals, your plans are all written out so that you can remember what that is. So if you're starting to go off track, you know how to get yourself back on track to get to that plan. And then my third point would be to, oh geez, there's so many points, but having people and I know this isn't always business, but having people in your life that will celebrate your wins. You have to celebrate your wins. If you have your first client, or you have your first 6-figure, 5-figure, 4-figure, whatever that is, you need people around you that are going to applaud you, to celebrate you. You need that. And you need to be able to celebrate somebody else's win. So you have that positive atmosphere around you so that you can have the momentum to go. Because being an entrepreneur is hard.
Yeah.
The statistics in front of us say that we can't really all gonna make it. So we need people around us to tell us that we can do it, that we can make it, that we can move. Because not just being a business owner, being a Black business owner, a minority business owner is even harder.
Yeah.
So we need people around us to promote our passion and tell us when we might be doing something wrong as well, but celebrate those wins so that we can have the stamina to keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. Oh, you gave some great advice. Thank you so much for that. And that last one really, it does hit home. Like you really do need to celebrate your wins because it gives you the fuel to keep going. And sometimes you need that as a small business owner. You know, you need to find your tribe and make sure that your tribe is supporting you and rooting you on and making sure that you're taking the next step because sometimes it's just difficult to take the next step. And if you're celebrating your wins, you want to get to that next step so that you can reward yourself with something that's fulfilling. So thank you so much for that. Now I want to just get into just a couple of questions about how you find peace and purpose in your life, right? So I can imagine that your role as the National African American Business Development Manager might come with well, I'll just say challenges, right? So I'm not going to put anything on you, but I'm sure that it comes with its own set of challenges. But what do you do to find peace and purpose in your life?
I assess. Okay, I do have to take self care, and trust me, it's we say self care, and we talk about it, especially as Black women. We talk about self care, but we don't do it. We say yes, we need it. Yes, we're going to take a break. But one thing that our cell phone will go off and we're back to work. We I'm guilty of it. I am. And so I had to reestablish myself as a woman. And I know I wear many hats. We're women, we're mothers, we're wives, we're sisters, we're daughters, we're business owners, we're nonprofit owners, we're employees, we're CEOs,
Sometimes
we clean our
therapist.
house.
Uh, yes, yes. Mhm.
So we need to have those mental breaks. We need to breathe. I personally love going to the gym. I go to the sauna. I do yoga. I mean, I stress. I do stress out, and people are like, somebody never stress. No, I do, but I let it go because
Yeah.
I can't change everything. I'm in control of what I'm in control of, and everything else is it happens. What happens happens.
Mhm.
So I take my family very personal. I mean, I'm very close to my family. I'm very close to my siblings. I make sure that we have that connection. I have to stay connected. And if I'm not connected, then I know that I'm pulling away and I need to reassess what I'm doing to make sure that my number one goal is that I stay healthy and well so that I can do the things that are needed of me. So, yes, making sure that self care is certainly top of mind, especially at night. I put on my spa music. I sure do. I have that relaxation music. I have to. I have to
Yes.
like
Yeah.
down, like real answers. Like I need to put on that music. I need to relax. I will go and go on a walk and I'll talk and I do pray. I mean, yes, I know this is a banking system, but I do pray and I go to church and I make sure that I have those groups and people that are around me that again support me, lift me up, and then I can do the same thing. I support and lift and see people, oh, I worked with you 2 years ago and look where you are today. And that just gives me that, like you said, the fuel, the motivation to keep going and keep doing it. But self-care is so, so important. And especially during this time, it's just
Yeah.
proven how important it is that we need to take care of ourselves so that we can continue the mission that we've been purposed to do. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Summer Faussette, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today on Business IQ. I'm sorry, Business Exchange, Peace and Purpose. We appreciate your time. Please let us know where we can follow you and find more information about Comerica's programs.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Let us know where we can follow you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just like, dude. You can follow me on LinkedIn for the programs that we're providing, and then also Comerica.com. That
Okay.
is where we put a ton of information. And we put basically all the financial education programs that we're doing, the business resource groups that you can be a part of and can listen and to talk to, and then Ask the Banker is on there as well. So you have plenty of resources on Comerica.com and that platform to make sure that you stay dialed in and connected with us.
Thank you again. I'm Portia Monique for Rolling Out Business Exchange for Peace and Purpose. Take care, guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.